Let's turn to the story that's been breaking this evening. Major Gogoi, the army officer who tied a local Kashmiri to an army jeep, will be honored. Army has confirmed to India today, this evening, that Major Gogoi will be awarded the Chief of Army Staff Commendation. An official statement from the army says the commendation card is for his sustained operations against terrorism. Gaurav Sawant, our correspondent, is joining us with the latest. Gaurav, what does this mean? Does this mean that the officer is being commended for his action in tying a Kashmiri to a jeep to try and, in a sense, protect people from stone pelters? Or is it for his wider role in counter-insurgency operations? Is the army saying that they support the action of Major Gogoi by giving him this commendation?
Rajdeep, in this case, the army is very specific. They're saying that the officer was deployed in counter-insurgency operations for a year, and he's shown extraordinary grit, courage, determination and initiative for the period of this 1 year. They haven't specifically spoken of this incident where a court of inquiry is underway, but overall they've commended him. The Chief of the Army Staff, General Bipin Rawat, has commended this young officer of the Army Service Corps, currently with the Punjab Regiment, for the initiative that he showed in the past 1 year. Off-record, army sources do maintain that there were two things that were of critical importance on the day of polling in Kashmir. One was to save lives, and two was to protect the polling process. This officer was a part of the quick reaction team. He responded to Jammu Kashmir Police and Central Armed Police Force personnel who were outnumbered, outgunned amidst a stone pelting mob and polling officials. He went in and he rescued them. He could have opened fire. He was well within his rights and covered by the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Had he opened fire at the stone pelting mob? According to the army, he did not. He used, in an extraordinary situation, an extraordinary measure.
But none of this is mentioned in the statement. Am I correct?
You're spot on, Rajdeep. None of this is mentioned in this statement. All of this was gleaned from our conversations with the army over a period of time when this incident took place. The army statement restricts itself to saying that this officer is being commended for his role in counter-insurgency operations, his role in the initiative that he's shown there.
Gaurav Sawant, appreciate you joining us, but I want to raise some questions over that story to try and understand what this means really on the ground. Is the army doing the right thing by awarding Major Gogoi? Will the commendation be seen as a reward for using a Kashmiri as a human shield? Does the commendation come at the wrong time? How will Kashmiris view commendation to the Major? Is this the army's clear message to stone pelters in Kashmir? Joining me now is Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad. Also joining me, Akar Patel, Executive Director of Amnesty International. Akar, how do you see the army's decision to commend this particular officer? They are saying it is for his work in counter-insurgency operations, but there will be those who will link it to his being using a Kashmiri as a human shield. Do you believe this is a message to human rights groups and indeed to stone pelters that the army will support such actions if necessary?
I'll repeat your words, Mr. Sadesai. How will a Kashmiri Indian view this? You've got a man who has been essentially seen on video of committing a crime. A kidnapping is a crime. Tying somebody to a jeep, exposing them to danger and violence is a crime. There should have been an inquiry. There should have been charges pressed in this case. What has happened instead is not that, but a commendation. How would the Kashmiri view this? I think this is a question that viewers should answer. I can tell you from experience that Kashmiris have stopped expecting justice from the Indian Army and the Indian state. I'll give you an example. AFSPA allows for a soldier to be tried and prosecuted in a civilian court if Section 7 is lifted. If the police file an FIR, file a charge sheet, and the government in Delhi actually lifts that immunity. In how many cases has that happened since 1989? Zero. Not even one soldier has been tried in a civilian court for any of the charges that the Kashmiri police have filed against the soldiers of the Indian Army. I think that this immunity that they receive should go. I don't think we should be surprised that this is happening. I think that we should all be very troubled by this, that somebody who has acted as this individual has has not only not been acted upon constitutionally and legally, but has been commended. I think that these are very dangerous times that we live in, where the breaking of the law is being rewarded. Secondly, I will repeat back to you, Mr. Sardesai, that line that you said for the previous story, that yes, Kashmir also has fallen off the map. I think that we no longer care what we do to them. As long as they are placated violently and they shut up, we will continue doing what it is that we feel like doing in the valley.
Those are strong words, and I'll come back to you in a moment to try and question you on that. But I just want to come to you, Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad. You heard what Akar Patel said. Now, is this a message that the army is sending out to stone pelters and indeed to the Akar Patels of the world that, look, you may see this from the perspective of human rights and Kashmiris, the Kashmiri identity, but there are those who will see this from the view of national security, and from a national security standpoint, Major Gogoi did the right thing. That's what Amrinder Singh, the Chief Minister of Punjab, has also just said, commended what the army is doing. Do you believe that the optics are very wrong? This was the wrong time. An inquiry has been ordered into the incident, and a Kashmiri used as a human shield. You go ahead and commend the individual. What's the message that will go out to Kashmiris?
No. Yeah, let me tell you, Rajdeep,
yes,
all these people who are so-called activists of human rights,
yes,
actually have no value for human lives. If they had any value for human life, they would have appreciated, out of the 900 stone pelters that are gathered around, many would have been killed. Out of those people who were trapped inside that election place would have been lynched by this mob, and many people would have died. That would not have been a human rights violation. This is a human rights violation because human life was saved and nobody got injured, nobody got hurt. That's point one. The second point that I wish to make is this, that it is an out-of-box thinking. Nobody teaches this thing in any military tactics. This is not a part of any tactical training. This is something that a guy thinks on the spot to come out with the best answer. He had many options. One option was, sorry guys, this is not my job. You fend for yourself. There are 900 guys. I can't come there to shoot them. I will first ask my boss. And he would have rung up his boss. Boss would have told him, why do you want to get into trouble? Just whatever happens is none of our problem. It's a local police problem. This is all that he could have done. All what he thought was, let me take initiative out of the box to save lives.
So you don't
and
see,
I think he's done a great
so you
job.
don't see any human rights violation at all? You believe it's an out of the box?
Let me finish. Rajdeep, let me finish it. No, Rajdeep, let me finish. Let me answer all the questions that have been raised.
Yes.
Whether the announcement is politically correct or not, whether it's the right time to do. You know, the army is very conscious of what the public begin to think. Army is also very conscious about political rightness. While it may not be so, but it has to be so under the current circumstances that are existing in insurgency situations.
Yes.
Army has covered it up by saying for insurgency operations, his performance in insurgency operations. And here is a gentleman on your channel saying that the army is not doing their job in Kashmir. Who saves these hundreds and thousands of people in floods, Rajdeep? Who are the people who are going there in earthquakes and saving hundreds
but
and
there
millions,
are two sides,
including Hurriyat people?
There are two sides to the story.
This. Only a small portion of Kashmir, which is South Kashmir, which is great. Obviously, there will be two sides of the story. But let us look at the positive side of the story, that human lives have been saved, Rajdeep. For God's sake, appreciate this.
Akar Patel,
what is a commendation card to a man? Nothing.
Akar Patel, is there a worry that this becomes a black and white debate when it should be in shades of grey? There could have been lives that have been saved, as General Prasad says. The army has also done commendable work in the past in Kashmir. It's not just about AFSPA and human rights violation. Is it possible to look for shades of grey rather than say Kashmiris no longer expect any kind of justice from the Indian army or the Indian state?
I don't think, Mr. Sadesai, this is an area where there should be greys. This is black and white. This is not a war. You're not fighting the enemy. You are in your own country. These are your own people. What you are doing is violating the constitution. What does out of the box mean? When you kidnap somebody, you're breaking the Indian constitution, you're breaking the law. Don't do it. If you do it, your superiors should prosecute you. If they don't do it, they are breaking the law. It doesn't mean anything. Everybody in the country, including the army, should be held accountable to the law.
Sure.
out-of-the-box thinking is just another phrase for violating it. It shouldn't be allowed. It's illegal.
It's illegal. General Prasad,
Yeah,
is
sure.
it illegal? Is
Sure.
there any
Get the army
illegality?
out of that place.
Is there any illegality in what the army did? Is that the reason why an inquiry has been ordered? Is this about an army perspective versus the perspective of someone who's
Inquiry
looking
has
at
been
it from civil society in Kashmir? Think about, put yourself in the view of an ordinary Kashmiri.
Surely. Yeah, I will first put myself in the position of this major. Many years ago, I was also a major in the same situation. I must confess, Rajiv,
Yes.
that I may not have got this idea. I may have perhaps not gone there. Or if at all I was to go there, I would have killed so many people.
Yes.
That would have been human rights violation more than what I have done, or what this major has done. It is something that is not taught as a part of tactical training. It is something that has occurred to this boy to save human lives. Now, as far as the constitution is concerned, as far as the law is concerned, every law has to be applied with the mind. If you have a law which does not need application of mind to a particular crime committed, you don't need judiciary. You don't need lawyers to plead your cases. Every case that goes before a criminal court is under a specific act of the law. And there still people are defended or convicted. So a law is to be applied by application of mind, by application of the situation. Don't you remember cases when people have been shot dead point blank because of certain provocations and they have been let off? Go and see picture Rustam, what happened. Go and see so many incidents that you are aware of. There is an application of law, Rajdeep. Why are we deviating from that? Nobody can say law allows you to kidnap. Law allows you to break human rights. Who's saying that?
My point is, what's the message that's gone out today? What's the message that's gone out today? The message that has gone out today presumably is that army should be encouraged more and more to take out-of-the-box solutions, even if they are flirting with what may be termed as illegality in pure universal human rights terms. That the army must look for out-of-the-box solutions, and the pragmatic answer you're giving is that human lives are being saved in the process.
No, sir, I'm not giving that answer. No, sir, I'm not giving that answer. That answer is being given by you.
Okay.
The answer I'm giving, that in an insurgency, when innovative ideas are being taken out by the militant stone pelters and Pakistani related matters, then we have to think of methods other than what is laid down in tactical books.
Okay, let me leave it there.
Nobody is talking about the heads of Indian Army being cut as a line of control.
Yes, Akar Patel, a final quick word from you.
Leave it there. I'm sorry, Rajdeep.
Akar, quick final word, because as I run out of time, the fact is that there will be those today who will say that Major Gogoi reflects the mood of the nation, which would want the army to take stronger measures in the face of terror and stone pelters. Stone pelters, in the view of a large number of Indians today, do not deserve the universal human rights.
Sir, application of law is something that we leave to the judiciary in this country, not the army. I'm not sure what constitution my fellow panelist has been reading. The second bit is I would urge
let it go to the court and let them do it.
I would urge, well, we did go to court. Not even a single time has the army actually allowed Section 7 to be lifted. That is the problem, sir. I would urge viewers to view this as something that has been happening since 1989. Mr. Sardesai, we need to understand that brute force goes so far. It is a legitimate solution in some cases. Is it legitimate here? Every day we see stories of violence being inflicted on a people who have fallen off the map. Do we have any sympathy as a nation? Maybe we don't, but some of us do. And we will stand up and we will come on the shows and we will talk about it. Okay. And thank you for giving us the time.
That perhaps makes us the great democracy that we are. There are two views to this story. And that's what we want to encourage increasingly. In a democratic newsroom, you encourage two views, and maybe we need to listen to both voices. And maybe the commendation of Major Gogoi will be celebrated by some, but maybe questioned by a few. And those voices too deserve to be heard. Thank you very much for joining me. When I return, as part of our series in this week, as the Narendra Modi government completes 3 years, we'll be joined by a spectrum of leaders, both from the government and the opposition.